Here in my country, my professors don't see any beauty in physics as you do see, and I've suffered a lot from this. They just want us to learn how to solve typical exercises to succeed in the exam. They don't look beyond that tiny horizon. Saeed, an Iranian who had already earned a couple of American master's degrees, writes, "I never really enjoy of life until I have watched you teach physics. Professor Lewin, you have changed my life indeed. The way you teach, it is worth 10 times the tuition, and makes some, not all other teachers, bunch of criminals. It is capital crime to teach bad." Or Siddharth from India, "I could feel physics beyond those equations." Your students will always remember you, as I always remember you, as a very, very fine teacher who made life and learning more interesting than I thought was possible. Mohammed enthusiastically quotes Lewin's final lecture in Physics 8.01 with approval. "Perhaps you will always remember from my lectures that physics can be very exciting and beautiful, and it's everywhere around us, all the time, if only you have learned to see it and appreciate its beauty." Marjorie, another fan, wrote, "I watch you as often as I can, sometimes 5 times per week. I am fascinated by your personality, your sense of humor, and above all, your ability to simplify matters. I hated physics in high school, but you made me love it." Lewin receives dozens of such emails every week, and he answers each one. Walter Lewin creates magic when he introduces the wonders of physics. What's his secret? "I introduce people to their own world," he says, "the world they live in and are familiar with, but don't approach like a physicist yet. If I talk about waves on water, I ask them to do certain experiments in their bathtubs. They can relate to that. They can relate to rainbows. That's one of the things I love about physics. You get to explain anything. And that can be a wonderful experience for them and for me. I make them love physics. Sometimes, when my students get really engaged, the classes almost feel like happenings." He might be perched at the top of a 16-foot ladder sucking cranberry juice out of a beaker on the floor with a long, snaking straw made out of lab tubing. Or he could be courting serious injury by putting his head in the path of a small but quite powerful wrecking ball that swings to within millimeters of his chin. He might be firing a rifle into 2 paint cans filled with water, or charging himself with 300,000 volts of electricity with a large contraption called a Van de Graaff generator, like something out of a mad scientist's laboratory in a science fiction movie, so that his already wild hair stands straight out from his skull. He uses his body as a piece of experimental equipment. As he says often, science requires sacrifices, after all. In one demonstration, captured in the photo on the jacket of this book, he sits on an extremely uncomfortable metal ball at the end of a rope suspended from the lecture hall ceiling, what he calls the mother of all pendulums, and swings back and forth while his students chant the number of swings, all to prove that the number of swings a pendulum makes in any given time is independent of the weight at its end. His son, Emmanuel Chuck Lewin, has attended some of these lectures and recounts, "I saw him once inhale helium to change his voice. To get the effect right, the devil is in the details. He typically gets pretty close to the point of fainting." An accomplished artist of the blackboard, Lewin draws geometrical figures, vectors, graphs, astronomical phenomena, and animals with abandon. His method of drawing dotted lines so entranced several students that they produced a funny YouTube video titled "Some of Walter Lewin's Best Lines," consisting simply of lecture excerpts showing Lewin drawing his famous dotted lines on different blackboards during his 8.01 lectures. A commanding, charismatic presence, Lewin is a genuine eccentric, quirky, and physics-obsessed. He carries 2 devices called polarizers in his wallet at all times, so that at a moment's notice he can see if any source of light, such as the blue sky, a rainbow, or reflections off windows, is polarized, and whoever he might be with can see it too. What about those blue work shirts he wears to class? Not work shirts at all, it turns out. Lewin orders them custom-made to his specifications of high-grade cotton, a dozen at a time every few years, from a tailor in Hong Kong. The oversized pocket on the left side Lewin designed to accommodate his calendar. No pocket protectors here.